And we are live. Dang, go ahead and take. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ravencast. We have a new show today called the Dubbic Network. And today I'll be introducing my new network co-host, Dingy. What is up, Dingy?
Well, it's good to be here, Triton. Just to let everyone know, I'm the dignified cartoon gentleman. That's a bit too long of a name for most people, so just call me Digny. It's great to be on this panel with a great host in Triton, Mr. Silent, also known as Black Putin, and Gabriel, who is a great guy. There we go. All right, then. Don't worry, folks. I'm just prepping a few things for today's show.
Same here. I'm getting links set out right now to everybody.
Oh,
Good.
should we tell them about the GoFundMe?
You can if you want.
You can tell them about the GoFundMe real quick.
Okay. Before the show begins, gentlemen, I would like to say I've been homeless for like about 2.5 weeks now. And I actually set up a GoFundMe to at least help me get back on my feet. I do have some money, but I don't have enough to cover my my rent and all that. So if anybody's willing to donate money, it doesn't matter what amount it is, it just helps me out a bit. You can go and check out my GoFundMe, and I think Tryon has it that he could post in the comments.
Yeah, I can.
And just every bit helps. You don't have to go and like donate thousands of dollars. I mean, after all, my goal is only 1,400 anyway, so I'm not greedy.
Like Ben Shapiro.
Shapiro.
We'll
get to that later.
Yeah, that's for later in today's show. But any support is appreciated in helping Gabriel. I can tell you this. This is the great thing about very few people watching. Back when I had a bigger channel, folks, the primary goal of Reality Based was to essentially create this hub of support, this sort of war chest to help those in need. Unfortunately, that got wiped out in May, and YouTube kept a good $1,000 in donations, which is a big dick move from YouTube, but we've been seeing that a lot recently. But thankfully, the network is rebuilding. We now have a show a day, and I'm very grateful that you guys are here to make this possible. But before we go into the first topic, I would catch up with the chat, but it's just me and Triton. So that's.
Okay, no. More people are coming. I just put the links out, so yeah, you can catch up with the chat. What's up, people that are watching? Hopefully, everyone is doing good. Some of my people sometimes come in later in the stream. I just put the links out, so hopefully more people will be coming.
Well, it's a pilot episode, so don't worry if there are any chinks in the armor, folks. We'll iron them out in future episodes. But
Muffin is here. What is up, Muffin McFlurry? How you doing?
Good. We need more people. The more, the merrier. But before we go into the first topic, we're going to catch up with the panel, and we're going to start off with Black Putin because he's quiet. Why is he always quiet?
I am quiet, aren't I?
Yes.
Hello. How is everybody doing today?
It's doing good. What's been going on with you?
Just sitting here playing Pal World and talking to you all.
Of course.
Good, very good. We appreciate Black Putin for being here, and during our 2-hour talk, we will be encouraging him to speak more often. I always like it when there's a shy panelist on a show. It makes it more of a challenge to get out their perspective. Don't worry, Black Putin. You're not the only person who's ever been on a panel to be a bit shy doing this. In fact, I know creators with tens of thousands of subs who need to be, lured into a panel conversation. So you're in good company. Don't worry. All right. How about you, Triton? How have you been?
I've been good, actually. Had a really great Thanksgiving last week. Had a lot of great food, a lot of great mac and cheese and stuff. And also, been just, working on my Discord server and also preparing the show, making sure this show is entertaining for you guys in the chat, as well as, the audience that'll be watching the VOD. And just, been prepping the show and also, just been waiting for my computer to be fixed, but I get my computer back tomorrow. I'm using my brother's computer for today's show, just so today's show can happen and we can launch and get this shit started.
Excellent. Excellent. And we appreciate you for setting this show up, Triton. Hopefully,
of course. And I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to start a network show, because a lot of people have been wanting a panel show for a while, because a lot of my people love hopping in. And we're going to be rotating people throughout these weeks. So you'll see different characters come in and out of the panel show, because that's what panel shows are. And, we'll get a lot of, great conversations going on, because we got a lot of great topics today that I can't not wait to give my perspectives on and and tell the truth about too.
Excellent, most excellent. I don't know if Gabriel's still there, but it's great.
I'm still here. I'm just loading up my pipe to go out to smoke.
All right, so Gabriel, how you been for the panel?
Oh, pretty good. I mean, the previous 2 weeks, I was terrible living out of a car and everything. But now that I'm crashing at my friend's house while waiting for my apartment to be renovated that I got, pretty good. Like I said, guys, I've been homeless for 2 weeks. My mother kicked me out because I wouldn't loan her $28 because she was getting 30 grand from my grandmother's estate and leaving me with nothing. So that was kind of bad. But I had a good Thanksgiving. I went to a local bar in Sharonville, Ohio. I'd recommend, if any of you guys are ever out here in Hamilton County, which is where Cincinnati is located, I would recommend you go out to Bar 513. They're a very good bar, very affordable prices. Beer is only $3 if it's in cans. If it's on tap, I think it's $5, and food's very affordable. They got kick-ass onion rings and all that.
I just banned a troll. I just banned a troll in chat, by the way. But continue.
Oh wow! What? Oh, what did he say?
It's an old mod saying, "Oh, we'll address this on the panel." No, fuck you, X mod. In fact, I know.
Yeah, I know, man. You would never kick your kids out. And the worst part is, she kicked me out during winter with only $5 grand in my pocket. I'm actually about almost broke because I've been paying for everything, and that's why I had to go fund me, so this way I could at least survive and get back to Indy to the apartment. Yeah, I'm about $700 in debt with my credit card. I don't think it's really that much. I think it's actually less than that. I just have to wait for security deposit to come back from the hotels.
Well, I'm hopeful, Gabriel, that you get back on your feet as soon as possible, especially considering the circumstances.
Yeah, and I'm doing very well with doing it. I mean, honestly, if I wasn't as smart as I am, I probably would be up the creek.
By the way, the other panelist is here, Torn of God of Anger, and you came in just in time because we're catching up with the panel before we get right into our topic.
I just woke up from a nap.
You're good. Don't worry about it. But you came in at the right time because we just got done with catching up with Gabriel. Now we get to catch up with you. How you been, Torin, for the stream?
Not too bad, I guess.
Which you usually, Torin's been hosting my other streams because of my computer outage, and we usually, talk about Power World and shit and all that. And he really knows a lot. He actually will know about the Nintendo topic a lot, and he'll give a really good perspective about it because he does keep up with Nintendo shit a lot.
Good, very good, because it's a strong first topic. We got 4 topics for today's show. The topics are in the description, I believe. A recent innovation. I never used to do that until after the show, but I appreciate everyone for being here. And what was the Green Mask's name again?
Torin, God of Anger.
I will call you Tor because it's easier to say and remember.
The Mask of Anger.
Yeah. It's good to have you here, Tor, and fingers crossed you'll enjoy today's show. If you haven't already, folks, like the stream, share the stream. Triton's only 19 subs away from 500, So that's a big milestone. We appreciate everyone's support. And now we might as well get into today's first topic. You don't need to keep that up there, Triton.
Wait, what?
You don't need to keep up like the stream. I like to
Oh,
know
yeah.
who everyone is in case I forget.
True.
You got 10 minutes and 10 seconds. There we go. So the first topic, folks, is about Nintendo going nuts through a series of censorship rampages. Now, Nintendo's reputation over the past few years has gone from stellar to shit. They are the newest devil of gaming. They're even worse than EA at this point.
They're the Disney of gaming.
They are the Disney of gaming. That's a good point, Tor. And I dare to say that the company is going to get even worse as the time goes on. Because I want to share my screen to provide some context for everyone on the panel and everyone watching. And here it is. If you want to bring it up, Triton. There we go. My goodness, my eyesight is terrible. But here's a.
It was just loading in. I was like, why is this so blurry?
Yeah, well, my signal is just like Nintendo. It's shit. But here's an example of a games developer who's also a content creator called Cult Games. It's spelt that way because he's Austrian. Who wanted to release his personal game, The Great Rebellion, on Nintendo Switch. And not only did he get rejected, but Nintendo decided to bait and switch him. Right? They decided to negotiate with him, come to a settlement, put his game on their platform, and then kept the money, ran, and banned his game from their platform. So it's pretty shitty, right?
Yeah, it is pretty shitty.
Can I say something?
Yeah, by all means, Black Putin.
I do know this. Nintendo is notorious for screwing developers as well as other people out of a lot of stuff. They have done this for decades now, and third-party support. Like,
there was actually a grace period when they first launched the Switch, where they just kind of stopped censoring games as much, unless it was one of their games, and they've started it up again.
Yeah, it's like, so not only, I know this is kind of related, kind of not, but it's all in the same vein. But Pale World, right? Their ongoing litigation with that, coupled with, they're just getting too high on their own farts, more to say. So they think, oh, well, we can take out Pale World, so we're just going to destroy the competition, and then we get to say what we want on this platform, and no one can say a damn thing about it. When in reality, it's not like that. It's like they don't understand that in all reality that we are the people that made them. The developers need to be, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. It's completely understandable.
Not for nothing, but correct me if I'm wrong, but the idea of Pokemon is not copyrighted. Like, the name Pokemon is copyrighted, but the whole idea of having fighting monsters isn't, because if that was the case,
capturing creatures, it's not.
Yeah, because if that was the case, you wouldn't have Digimon, you wouldn't have had Yu-Gi-Oh!
Monster Rancher,
Bakugan.
Well, if you want to go further back than that, there's what was it? Not Dragon.
Shin Megami Tensei.
No, that was one of the first ones, but wasn't it
actually started the whole genre? Actually,
okay, I thought it was Dragon Quest or something like that.
No, Dragon Quest did get a monster spinoff eventually, but it was originally confined to. Well, actually, Dragon Quest 4 had a little bit of a prototype system to the whole monster system, but it wasn't fleshed out until the first Dragon Quest monsters.
Yeah, so like none of that is copyrighted, right? Like the whole idea of it. So their whole lawsuit was just retarded.
Well, that's the thing about Nintendo these days. Nintendo is a retarded company, especially when they got a new CEO. I think it was for Nintendo of America.
Yeah.
being this legal Karen, this literal lawyer whose reputation in Nintendo was built solely around suing rival companies and putting up these patents and things. It's absolutely
it gets worse than that.
ridiculous.
It does get worse than that.
Apparently, there's some of the other people are some of the other people they employed recently, like the and she's not the CEO, she's the president. The actual CEO is some Japanese dude who's also WEF rat. There's also a there's also a WEF rat running the Pokemon Company of America.
Well, it's good that Tor is sharper than me on this topic, because when I think of legal Karen, the last thing I think of is president, because we nearly had that with Clinton and Kamala.
Yeah, there's a company president and then there's a CEO. They have both.
Well, thank you for reminding me, Tor. I just wanted to bring up an example of the censorship we've been seeing throughout Nintendo. I've collaborated in the past with Cult Games, and I must say that the Great Rebellion is a basic side scroller, but it is very entertaining. And it got banned in Germany because it was very critical of the World Economic Forum, of the globalist agenda, and of many other things as well. I just find it very ironic that Germans banned an Austrian game, considering the history.
Sorry about that, guys. I was walking away for a minute because it sounded like somebody was trying to break in.
Oh, damn. America in 2025, ladies and gentlemen. But
well, it's a good thing that we do have concealed carry. I'm not going to show it on stream, but I do have a Glock here. I should have it in my pocket here. But yeah.
Right,
it's freaking.
Look, the more you know, the better, folks. And I'd like to get, if I may, because, we had a good free-flowing conversation a few minutes back, but I'd like to get panel perspectives on the situation, and I'd like to start, if I may, with Triton.
I think Nintendo has been, censoring shit for like years at this point, and honestly, it's like they should not be, like they think they own capturing monsters and shit. It's like, no, they do not. They do not own capturing monsters, and they should have not have, got rid of that game. Like Nintendo's just been scummy. That's getting way too powerful, and they are the Disney of video games, like literally Disney of video games.
No, I was going to say the Viacom of video games, unless Disney owns Viacom.
Oh no, we don't want that. But,
definitely don't want that. But they're heading there too, because Nintendo's just thanks to power hungry. They think like on the Switch, they think, oh, if you have anything that disagrees with their political beliefs, oh, you can't go on the Switch too. You can't host your games on the Switch too. And in fact, too, it's like, didn't that Resident game even comply with the rules and they still kicked them out?
Yes. Yes, because
that's the fucked up part. It's like that game literally complied with their rules.
Great Rebellion.
Yeah, Great Rebellion. But Great Rebellion literally complied with the rules, and Nintendo said, okay, you're good, and they still kicked them out. So now Nintendo's a scumbag company. Their censorship's getting way too out of hand, and more people like us, Fratanga, Smash 18, other people need to call these people out. We need to keep calling out Nintendo, because that's the only way that people are going to know about the censorship is if we call them out.
It's a very, because highlighting the problem is always a great first step. And then, you find solutions, then you be the change you want to see. But Black Putin, what do you make of the whole Nintendo censorship situation? And hopefully, folks, Black Putin speaks long enough for me to pop out and pop back in. Because, scarily enough, my profile picture on my end looks black, and I don't like that at all. So take it away, Black Putin.
Look black.
My thoughts are that with the pro censorship that's going on, I believe that when it comes down to it, the problem is that it's a lot like with what happened with censorship when it came to stuff of trying to think of it. What was that case that recently just happened? It's like with Sony. You know how, like, if you think about it, right? Sony, they censor their games, right? Their first party, and they make sure that the third party complies. Because, like in the case of Stellar Blade, they toned down the breast size of Eve, and they made more coverage in that department.
Hey,
But then,
Triton.
Hold on. Let Getler finish. Don't interrupt him.
No, I was telling you he's back.
Okay, I'll get him. But finish Getler.
Sorry, Getler.
But then in the Nintendo department, they're following somewhat the same vein. If they're saying that certain games by devs can't be allowed, or they're just basically flat out saying no, that's in the same vein, but much worse on a scale, because it's like you're gonna say, well, this game can't be allowed, but you're allowing an AI made game on because there's like quite a few AI games. I know I've been on the store to look at games recently, and they're always like third party AI slop games that appear on the store. They say they're going to cut down on it, but then they allow that. And there was one the other day, if I'm not correct, that was very etchy, like it was a visual novel AI slop game, dungeon crawler thingy, and that's on the store. But then they're gonna go ahead and say this game can't be on the store. How does this shit work? Like
I can answer that. I can answer how that shit works, Black Putin, and it's good to know that you're talkative. That's very good. Very good indeed. It has everything to do with ideological differences. Because you can make a slop video game, but if you have the right politics as Nintendo, you can get away with making AI slop games that scam cancer patients out of tens of thousands of dollars.
Wait, what?
Yeah, especially when they're loot box driven massively.
Wait. I
was
want
an
to hear
example
about
of that,
this
Gabriel, a few months back of a Latvian game streamer who was a cancer patient. He was going through cancer, and he was playing this free-to-play online game. The name of it escapes me, but it wasn't one of the major ones. And he got scammed by a crypto blockchain system. He got scammed out of tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, the cancer patient.
Yeah, and after the backlash, Nintendo decided to back the company and put the game on the Switch.
Wait. So the crypto thing, right? Was that kind of like how you have ransomware?
No, it was built into the game, so it wasn't in a sense ransomware. It was a function in the game, but they didn't make it clear in the game that it operated that way. It happened a few months back, so the details are a bit vague in my mind. But I bring that up as an example because I remember clearly Nintendo rushing to that game's defense, whereas in this case with the Great Rebellion, they're
Didn't
like,
it get removed off Steam?
Yeah, it was taken off Steam, but it was put on Nintendo.
So, okay, so basically it's like how with games you got to go and buy stuff to continue on playing or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was part of the game's built-in currency system, but it was valued on this blockchain. It was very weird from my perspective because I don't know much about.
I figured it was a crypto miner. That's what we call those types of games. They're malicious and they basically mine cryptocurrency for someone remotely.
But they just screwed this cancer patient out of money.
Oh yeah, they stole his money.
Yep. No remorse.
What is I don't want to live in this world anymore. What the hell?
Hey,
man?
look, man. Look, man, Roblox isn't on today's docket, but if you want to know about predatory games, check out Roblox. It's got like 20 million kids playing it and 20 million predators playing it.
Calls it he calls it pedal blocks.
It really.
I know someone that calls it Diddy Blocks.
Oh, damn!
I played that game like 7 years ago, and I know when I went on there, I got banned because I was just swearing, trying to swear in the chat, and eventually they just banned me because I was
ugly. It's such an ugly game too. Like,
but see, I don't quite understand like the point of Roblox. Like, I don't know. Maybe
I actually heard recently they've upped like the online ID system, and now if your ID is under a certain age, you can like fucking not use the chat at all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
it's literally the Roblox system. And there's so much wrong with the games industry, man. That is why it's got to be called out, undermined, and gutted from the top down and the bottom up.
Actually, that's kind of what I wanted. Kids shouldn't be talking in online chats anyway. Honestly, you want to know the truth.
They shouldn't be. That's the thing too. It's like unless they have parental consent, they should not even be on the internet at all. Like when I have kids, my kids are not going to be on the internet till at least like 16, 17, just because it's like, bro, they shouldn't be on the internet chatting with strangers anyways.
Well, it's funny you say that because our next topic has a lot to do with the whole, not just the parenting situation, but the fact that certain governments, certain foreign governments within the EU and Australia are banning under 16s from social media. However, that does not include Discord and Roblox.
Okay. Now I have a hot take on this.
Sure.
That's actually my hot take. So I personally support that because I've seen how teenagers act in Australia. I lived out there for 5 months this year, working as a bartender. So I've seen how teenagers act, and I've seen how they try to get into bars illegally and all that. So I personally agree with that ban, although I do believe they should have extended it to Discord and Roblox, in my honest opinion. Because I
just think it's very interesting because it was the Australian Prime Minister, folks, who made it clear what platforms were to be banned under this scheme, which debuts in Australia on December 10th. And they include all the usual suspects: YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitter, even Twitch. But it didn't include Discord, and it didn't include Roblox. And Roblox has like a Discord-esque system because they bought Gilded and turned it into their own version of Discord. So
yeah, it was the leading Discord alternative, but it's not anymore.
No. I don't know what Gilded is. I've never heard of Gilded.
It's basically a Discord alternative, but they sold themselves out to the Roblox company, and you have to have a Roblox account to use it now, even if your Discord or even if your server is not related to Roblox.
So,
and it was done in a purpose built to stop a Discord alternative and give predators a means to communicate with children.
Yeah.
So now my next question is, what EU country is this? Like the whole entire EU, like every EU member state that has passed this legislation?
Well, the EU hasn't done it yet. It's starting off in Australia, and in the European Union, it's set to follow Australia's lead by the end of 2026. So it's in the pipeline, but once it goes through, because it's already been agreed, now it's just a question of putting it into practice. So by the end of 2026, every EU member state will be banning social media for the under 16s using the Australian model. And this comes courtesy of Smash JT. I always find it interesting. The title is EU votes to ban parenting, but he forgets to mention Australia. This is the Australian Prime Minister.
Yeah, that's Anthony Albanese.
There's some people that think Australia is part of the European Union for some reason.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they make the mistake that it's still part of Britain. Actually, funny enough, when I was there,
I mean, technically, some of the places in Britain that are in the European Union aren't part of Britain. But
yeah, like the Northern Ireland, I do believe, has been trying to fight to have the same right.
Anyway, I have
as
my
the
own
EU.
issues with Smash JT right now. So
Yes, it's understandable. I'm just using him as a vector.
the freaking
for,
Alucard
the topic.
situation is one of them. I don't know if you've heard that situation or not. I'll talk to you
Ryan's
about it
not,
later.
Ryan's not on Discord, so he does not know anything that went on Smash JT's Discord.
No, that's the thing. I avoid, because folks, I look at Discord the same way I look at Roblox. I am not a fan of how Discord sets up their systems. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Hold on. If
I had my choice in the matter, I wouldn't use Discord at all. But unfortunately, it's where all my friends are. So.
Mm-hmm. But this guy has a very weird and funny name, Albuquerque something.
No, Anthony Albanese.
There we go.
Well, actually, it's Albanese, but they pronounce it Albanese. Actually, I'll give you a fun story. So I was out there on a working holiday visa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, fun fact, the way it's supposed to work with the whole Commonwealth, but the UK recently got rid of work and holiday visas. Now the only thing you have to get into working in the UK is through a work permit.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. Anyway, when I was there, they had the election this year, and they have this whole thing, make Australia great again. It's not really a big movement, but Anthony Albanese is behind that movement. And that's why I couldn't get my contract extended out there, because they don't want non-Australians taking Australian jobs.
The irony.
And the irony is that Australia was founded by immigrants and prisoners.
Well, not just immigrants, but criminal immigrants.
Yeah. Well, criminal in the fact that, it was you could be charged with something as little as stealing bread back then.
Yes,
or if you were a debtor back then, you could go to prison just because you were in debt. Thank God we got rid of that nowadays. Yeah.
For all our sake. Now everyone's in debt.
Yeah. So, I don't really like Anthony Albanese. Also, the cyclone that went through this year was supposed to be called Cyclone Anthony. But he actually sued the Meteorological Society to change the name because it would make him look bad since it was an election year. For some reason. I don't know how it would make him look bad.
That is
what a little snowflake.
Dude, it is such ridiculous with it. But getting back to the EU legislation thing. So you're telling me, like, for them to pass that, does that have to go through the EU Parliament?
You see, the thing about the EU is the EU Parliament is really more advisory than anything else. Everything is decided by the Commission, and the Commission, every EU member state has its own commissioner. And if you get a simple majority of like 14 countries against 13, then you can pass legislation. And so it was the major countries like France, Germany, Italy that spearheaded this effort for this social media ban for the under 16s. Yeah, it was the big nation.
Germany, the country that actually has been fighting EU legislation since day one of joining, because they don't want to institute a smoking ban, but all the other countries have instituted smoking bans.
Mm-hmm.
This country is actually going to go, because they're dragging their feet on that. They're actually going to go and pass a legislation on banning minors from social media.
Well, not just that, but the means of banning under 16s from social media is in effect institute union-wide digital identification, because it's the only way to properly.
That was my
I'll
next
be honest.
question.
I got a hot take. I'll be honest. I believe that if you're under 16, you should not be on social media. But I don't think it's the government's job to ban you. I think it's the parents' job to be like, hey, don't get on there, Parents need to start parenting.
And why 16? Yeah. Why 16 instead of under 18? Because 18 is the adult at the age of...
Well, in not just in the EU, but in the UK and most of the non-American Western world, 16 is the age you become an adult.
But you can't buy tobacco in the UK unless you're 18. And you can't buy alcohol unless you're 18. So why is it not that 18 is the adult age?
Well, you're American. You should know Europeans are retarded.
I wouldn't know that, even though I actually am eligible for EU citizenship, considering my family came from Poland during the Holocaust. So I'm actually able to get citizenship. I don't really know how to fill it out, though. I'm going to have this one girl on Discord help me with that because I can't speak Polish like a damn, So I have somebody else to fill that out for me. But once I get that, I might actually be able to get some freaking help. I could go to Poland.
Oh, well, I'll tell you this. Poland is very close to a certain country that's fighting for its life and is the money laundering capital of the world. I wouldn't recommend it.
Transnistria.
No, it's Ukraine. But in all seriousness, though, folks, when you look at this situation, because I don't think there's a place for censorship. I understand the mindset of younger people. I understand the mindset of younger people not having access to the internet because there is a social media addiction crisis. I think we can all agree on that notion.
You should have a discussion with Frank about that when he's on next week.
But the biggest problem is, how do you make that happen? How do you enforce that? Okay, and the only way to actually enforce a social media ban on any particular group is to have everyone, the entire population, identified, because the only way you can ban certain groups or certain ages is through knowing anyone and everyone who uses it.
And not only that, but a lot of people don't trust the governments. And let's be real, all the governments are corrupted. So do we really want to give them all of our information, even though they already have it? Even though they already have it without a consent, but still, it's like, do you really want to just invade everyone's privacies just because you're trying to ban one specific group?
Yeah, Triton's right on that. And the other thing that I have a problem with, so what are they going to do? Have you put in your ID, your national ID, into the computer? Somebody could just steal that info. You could have your identity stolen.
Well, that's a great point, Gabriel, because in the UK, although it hasn't been fully, unleashed, the digital ID system in the UK has already been hacked twice. The first time, the government didn't know about it. And the second time, they only knew about it because the hackers told them, and then the hackers told them about the fact that they did it before. So I think that's the saving, because these hackers weren't, they were, I don't know how else to put this, but they were ethical hackers. They were the kind of hackers who were like, we don't want nationwide digital ID, so we're going to hack into the system to make sure it doesn't happen.
White hat is what we call it over here in the U.S. Black hat is for illicit purposes. White hat is for lawful.
Actually, there's a third one, gray hat.
Oh,
never heard of it. What's gray hat do?
It's basically in between between the black and white, basically.
Oh, so it's like chaotic evil, chaotic good.
Yeah,
and
honestly, that
evil.
group you just described, since they're breaking the law technically, but they're doing it for the sake of justice, they could be classified gray hat.
Well, that's the thing, because it's one thing to have these measures in place to stop under 16s using the internet, but a law is only as strong as its enforcement. And I, for one, am very grateful for those people who recognize how dangerous this stuff is and are willing to undermine it for the lack of a better term, the greater good. Because let's face it, folks, having digital ID is the internet's version of having all of your details stamped on your forehead. That's how dangerous it is, because of how interconnected the world is today between the physical and the digital. But I'd like to, I always like going around the panel so that everyone can speak their piece. Otherwise, I'll be like Ben Shapiro and never shut up. Let's start off with Triton. What do you make of the EU and Australia banning social media for the under 16s through national digital identification?
I think that's kind of stupid because that's the thing. It's like I agree with like why they're doing it because kids should not be on social media, but they're punishing everybody, literally people that don't even have kids, just because parents are not parenting right. And I feel like that's stupid because you're violating everyone's privacy over a small group of people that don't know how to parent, and I think that's bullshit. Because you're punishing the whole population just because there are a few parents that don't want to look at the kids' shit and moderate what the kids doing on social media.
Yep.
And I feel like that's stupid. And I feel like that's stupid too, because like if parents actually moderated their kids on social media, kids wouldn't even have problem on social media. They wouldn't even get groomed or anything because hey, this parent's protecting them. But the problem is parents are not protecting their own kids.
I'm live
so
right
the
now.
government's trying to, basically punish the whole population because parents do not know how to fucking parent. And I think that's fucking.
You want to go to White Castle later?
Well, that's the thing about the nanny state, ladies and gentlemen, and soon it's going to spread everywhere, okay, folks? Because once they lay things down in Australia, then the EU, how long is it going to take before the rest of the Anglosphere tells America, look, what we're doing is working. You do it now. And all it takes is for a camel toe or for a Gavin Newscomb or New Scum or whatever you want to call him to be elected, and that happens, okay? And Americans start getting arrested, charged, convicted, and imprisoned for breaking British online safety laws. Because let's face it, folks, left-wing governments will collude with one another to destroy freedom everywhere. And speaking of destroying freedom, Black Putin, what do you make of this whole situation?
Well, anybody that has ever asked me, I'm a free speech absolutist. Now, do I believe that there should be consequences for what you say? And the answer is no. They're words. They don't hurt you like fists or whatever does. Whatever you want to say. That's why when governments try to step in and censor stuff or like basically make it so you can't say what is on your mind, I get very, very upset. And it makes me very angry inside. Because I believe that everybody, no matter who they are, what they are, should have the ability to say what they want, in life.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's the N word for, crying out loud. You say it, and in an idealistic world, no one will give a shit. But we don't live in that world. That's the problem.
Oh, absolutely.
And more or less, how long has it been since slavery? People need to get over it. It's a word. It's not
Indeed.
that bad.
And we also need to consider, though, historically, up until the late 70s, early 80s, half the world, gentlemen, believed that the government should rule supreme in every aspect of your life. The hammer and the sickle. Thankfully, most of that collapsed in the 80s and 90s, but the idea behind that is still prevailing, and what's worse is it's seeping in to the Western world like a disease, like a parasite. And that is the great danger now, okay? It is a danger that is threatening all groups. It's threatening liberals, it's threatening conservatives, it's threatening nationalists, it's threatening even, especially the libertarians who value their liberty. And that's the end goal, is this, in a sense, unity coalition against the communistic parasite. But there you go. In all things, be it politics, pop culture, wider culture, we all have the same foe. But what about you, Gabriel? What do you make of the EU and Australia banning social media for under 16s through the idea of digital ID?
Well, personally, I do support it, but if you can't get the security for the IDs and all that down to the point where nobody can hack the system, I don't support it because that's a risk, man. You could lose your identification. People could go and start taking loans and all that out in your name. So I'm gonna have to say no for this unless they actually find a way to make it secure.
And that's the key, folks. And don't worry, Red. We'll be talking about Ben Shapiro later on in today's show. But I will point out right here, right now, that the more you look into this, the more it doesn't make sense. All right, it's far easier to enact paper ID, but we don't do that. We don't do that in the UK. We don't do that in the US. We don't do that anywhere in the Western world, because our forebearers were of the mindset of papers, please, was a bit too, dictatory for our taste. But no, it's on a computer. Everything makes it better. Everything makes it better if it's on a computer. Your cash, your personal data, your identification papers, everything's better on a computer. Huh? What about you, Tor? What do you make of this whole situation?
I don't think anyone should control your ID or what you do on the internet. That's your business,
Mm-hmm.
Within reason of the law, of course. Now, if you're doing something illegal and stupid, then yeah, you lose that right. But if you're like just being a law-abiding citizen, use your anonymity to just troll people or something, I don't think it should be held against you.
Absolutely. And that's the thing we need to focus on, folks, right? Government overreach is absolutely everywhere. It shouldn't be in the digital world, but that's what we're dealing with. And this is the consequence of connecting so much of the physical world with the digital world. Because you think about everyday life, right? Especially in the United States. Not a day goes by that is peaceful. You always have to be on your toes, right? That's the consequence of living in a free society. You've got to be vigilant. In a society that isn't free, you don't have to be vigilant because the authorities will take care of you, in air quotes. They will censor all dissent. They will keep people in line. They will keep people in their own regions in some cases. And that's how they run their society, like China or North Korea or Vietnam, or to take an example closer to home, like Cuba. That shard of glass just a couple of dozen miles away from the American mainland. If you can't even deal with communism on your doorstep, how the hell are you going to deal with it across the world?
Mm-hmm.
But on that note, folks, speaking of evil parasites, apparently the Church of Satan is Canadian.
That's actually
when did that
really
happen?
surprising.
Now, this topic comes courtesy of Metatron, who is a prominent content creator with quite the interesting name, considering the context of the actual Metatron. And I have a very nice, looking screen to share to you guys, okay? Because I think it embodies this entire topic. If you'd like to bring it up, try it.
Yeah, I can right now. There it is. At the stage. There we go.
There we go, folks. This is courtesy of Libs of TikTok, who might be a Satanist herself. Of course, the Church of Satan is based in Canada. And of course, this is Metatron's reaction. But let's face it, folks. Are we really surprised about all this?
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
I'm surprised of the location. I thought it was based here in the U.S. somewhere.
No, I was actually surprised because I thought it would be based in Israel. But I will point out that
that's not likely because Aleister Crowley made the cross to the U.S. at some point.
Oh,
that is true.
But I will make it clear because this is from one of Metatron's topical videos. It said the title is "This is Hilarious," which is very vague for a title. But when you have 1 million subs, you don't have to give a fuck about titles. But the thing I want to make clear as an outsider, because I'm not based in the US, I'm an outsider looking in, is that America's two principal geographic enemies are its two principal neighbors, Canada and Mexico. It's mainly because of the fact that Canada has a weakness problem, and Mexico's just a shithole. Okay? If you can't even deal with your neighbors, like I said earlier on with the Cuban issue, how the hell are you going to make a peaceful and prosperous country for yourself if your neighbors are chaotic? Do you guys remember when Trump was like, yeah, let's take over Greenland. Yeah, let's take over Canada. Yeah, let's take over Mexico. Completely silent about that, though, isn't he? Nowadays.
Yeah, he really is. Like, I feel like Trump has sold his soul to the opposition, because 2016, Trump used to be based. He used to call out the opposition. He used to, call out all these countries. Now it's like he switched a lot of his positions, and he ain't the same Trump that we want him to be. He ain't the MAGA Trump that he promised to be. MAGA's a scam.
He's an old man, Triton. He's an old, tired man who's all talk and no action. Black Putin can tell you this. Half of him negotiated with Trump, and it's just say one thing, do another. That's what we're dealing with here. But let's get first impressions on this situation. I'm going to start off
with Trump. Oh, you're talking about actual Putin.
Hold on. We're about to get your perspective in a second.
No. I was talking about, half of you, the half being Putin.
Yeah. Okay.
But don't worry, Black Putin. But we'll get Triton's perspective first on this situation, and then work our way down. So, Triton, what do you make of the Church of Satan being based in Canada?
That is actually kind of funny, because I thought it would be like Thunder said in the chat. I thought it would be like either somewhere in the U.S., like California, or like a left-wing state, or like Israel, like you said, Israel. It's just surprising, Canada of all places, but it makes sense because that's where they can do a lot of their activities. Because let's be honest, Canada's a shithole, and a lot of it's the middle of nowhere, so you can get away with a lot of stuff. Even though they do have laws in place, you still can get away with a lot of shit, because especially if you're in northern Canada and you're in the snow, you can basically do everything because there's not a lot of government out there. So it does kind of make sense for them to do it, because, let's be real, the Church of Satan does do a lot of bad shit, and they probably picked Canada on purpose just so, they can get away with a lot more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what better place to have a libertarian paradise than a frozen fucking hellhole? Canada.
Exactly.
But what about you, Black Putin? What do you make of the Church of Satan being based in Canada?
It's ironic, and it's also fun. Like, the meme from Palpatine? That's all I can think of in this case. It's like ironic, isn't it? When what's his name said that in Revenge of the Sith?
Yes, I'm aware. There are a lot of prequel memes out there, folks, but I know what Black Putin is referring to. I think people need to understand about Canada is that it is a land based on weakness, and that is the big problem. It's weaponized weakness, and it's been incredibly effective in subverting and destroying the population. I mean, this is a country, folks. Canada is a country that literally endorses the annihilation of its own people through medically assisted dying, or MAID for short. An entire industry built around people offing themselves.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh, yes,
suicide is commercial now?
Yes. And it is also encouraged.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That is really fucked.
They're just one step away from a suicide cult.
Well, yes. In the same way that abortion is encouraged in Canada as an industry, medically assisted dying made for short, is also encouraged in Canada because it is also an industry, a state-sponsored industry under the same premise. The United States, the UK, the EU, Australia, we're only one step away from where Canada is at. An industry, a financial industry built on encouraging disposable people, such as the old, the infirm, the crippled, to do themselves in for profit and for harvesting organs and for selling off body parts, because that's how the industry makes its money, very similarly to the abortion industry. They literally make money selling body parts.
Yeah, and that's really fucking just disgusting how these people make money. They basically make money off of people dying and off of innocents dying too.
Yeah. And that's why Triton, these people specifically target the older people, the disabled, the, for lack of a better term, retarded, the crippled, vulnerable people, disposable people. And there is an incentive for the authorities to do that because it means they don't have to spend as much money on them and they can make money off of them, right? A lot of the bad things we do in the West are largely profit driven. And I know that's a controversial thing to say because, you know, we do live in a capitalist world, but that is the fact of the matter, right? And that's why the Church of Satan is based in Canada. Because I'm not aware of any other country that does this.
Nope.
If China did this, there would be a fucking outrage. But they literally just harvest people's organs. They don't kill them. They just do it because they can.
In fact, where is MAGA Trump? The guy that claims to be for innocent people. Where is he in all this? Why isn't he saying shit? Oh wait, because he doesn't give a fuck.
He doesn't exist anymore.
He does not exist anymore.
America, folks, is literally surrounded by evil. The evil of Canada to the north, where you have a industrialized murder of people to make money. You have Mexico in the south, which is completely crime-ridden. Law and order practically doesn't exist, especially with a president with a very long-nosed surname endorsing the cartels. And you also have Cuba, which is the communist piece of glass in America's foot. You talk about make America great again. You can't even get your own backyard sorted out. Why the hell are you bombing bloody boats near Venezuela? All right, you've got problems closer to home.
Exactly. Like he has problems closer to home, but yet he rather focus on all these foreign countries' problems instead of our own.
You know how much money I checked recently. Do you know how much money the United States has given to Ukraine since 2022?
How much?
$360 billion US.
They definitely gave way more to Israel, and that's why we're in debt. Like we're trillions of dollars in debt, and the reason it is because we keep giving all of our money to people that don't need it. All these people hate us.
Yep. And we need to consider, folks, that the United States' transport infrastructure could have been completely rebuilt for $360 billion US. You know, the creaking railways, the rotting road system, the bridges collapsing, all of that could have been fixed under a mass infrastructure program costing $360 billion US over a 3-year period, which is how much has been given to the state of Ukraine. Let the Russians and Ukrainians fight each other. They're fighting over land that was theirs 35 years ago.
Let them kill each other.
Yes, exactly. Tor, that's what I call you. I don't know if Gabriel's there, but Tor, what do you make of the Church of Satan being based in Canada?
I'm actually an occultist myself, but I'm going to say, you don't know what an occultist is?
No, please enlighten me.
It's someone who has a fascination or practices occult religions like paganism, Satanism, etc.
Oh.
And so I have some insight into this, and not all people in the Church of Satan are bad people, mind you. In fact, some of them are actually incredibly nice. The thing is, it so happens they worship an entity that people don't really like in most modern religions.
Well, find me someone who likes Satan, and I will find you someone who loves Kamala Harris. There we go.
But I do agree with you on one thing. A lot of the Satanists are libtards.
Mm-hmm.
Same with pagans. And unfortunately, that's why I'm an outlier in the paganist community.
I'm sorry, Tor, but I also know someone who says pagan that way. Can you say pagan again?
Pagan?
Wait, is it Dash Attack that says pagan that way?
No. It's another creator I know who was born and bred, I think it was in Pennsylvania, and I think it's an accent issue in the Northeast. They can't say pagan correctly. So, Tor, could you call yourself a pagan man?
I don't see the difference, honestly.
No, it's just the way you say it. You say it like pagan.
I said pagan.
Exactly.
Pagan.
He's talking about your tone of voice.
Oh, well.
He's talking about the way you say it because of your autism, your speech impediment.
No.
I don't have an autistic speech impediment.
It's all right. It's just I knew a creator who couldn't say pagan correctly, right? And he would call himself a pagan man, but it didn't sound like pagan. It sounded like pegging. So every time he said it, I couldn't help but laugh out loud because he's
a problem with the word, not with me.
No, it's all right, Tor. It's just I like laughing at other people's
expense. No, he's just joking. It's just for
I know.
it's one of my weaknesses, which is sad, really, because I always like to keep a conversation.
That explains why flowing. She Who Not Must Be Named took down your channel. She couldn't take a joke.
but looking at this situation, folks, right? Really leaning into this, we must pose the question, right? Can we allow bad things to happen in a free society?
It really depends on if it affects that, like how it affects people. Like if you do a bad thing, but it does not affect anyone else, then it's like, why the fuck are you caring? But if it affects other people, that's when you should care because it's like, hey, it's affecting other people that should not be affected. That's when you should care about when people are doing bad things. If it affects either you or people around you or just people in general. But if they do something bad, like break something, but it's not even worth anything, that's like, who gives a fuck? It depends on what bad thing they do.
Well, I think, yes, Triton is absolutely correct there. It's at what point does the red line get crossed? I mean, I think we can all agree that medically assisted dying made is a step too far.
Oh, okay? Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I think personally, because I can only speak for myself in regards to this, having a financial incentive to wipe people out is a red line that gets crossed, right? And if you look at the Western world, whether it's in Canada with MAID, whether it's the West in general with the abortion industry, whether it's the military and industrial complex, which makes a shit ton of money off of making the weapons needed for people to slaughter each other, there are lots of instances, and it's not just in the West, I'm sure this happens worldwide as well, where we have found a way to effectively monetize and build livelihoods off of annihilating human beings of every age group and of every social strata.
Yep.
And it's a sad thing.
Mm-hmm. It is a really sad thing.
But there's one thing I'd like the military-industrial complex made and the abortion industry to do, and that is to get rid of Ben Shapiro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to the final topic of today's
I can get
show.
behind that.
My favorite part.
You know, folks, we'll keep the show at around 90 minutes. I should have anticipated smaller panel, more topics, but we'll keep the show to around 90 minutes because I don't want to spend an hour talking about this feckless fucker. 1 hour.
Absolute traitor to America. One, before you get into the topic, I just want to say, hey, Ben Shapiro, if you're ever watching this, which I don't know why you would be, but if you are watching this because you're a pussy sore and you'll watch literally a show with like 3 viewers right now, go back home. Get out of our country. Get out of here. Leave. Go back home to Israel, you cunt. All right.
No, go to Britain.
I want to pee in your hat.
Why? Why you want him to come to Britain so you can hang out with him?
Yeah, I just said I wanted to pee in his hat.
I don't want him in Israel. I live in Israel. I don't want him to live in Israel. All right, folks. I've typed in right here, right now. I've typed in Ben Shapiro on X. Okay, and I've typed in Ben Shapiro. So you've got Ben Shapiro. You got the Ben Shapiro
you follow
show.
him. Fad.
I follow Ben Shapiro for the same way Americans follow Iraqis, so I can effectively target them.
Okay.
But yes, literally the first post, Ben Shapiro outstayed his welcome by a fucking decade at least, getting replaced and forgotten. In fact,
I know. I've been following this. Yeah, Tucker Carlson's been on Ben Shapiro, been criticizing him for like the last few months.
Yep. No, literally, folks, we can scroll down and you will not find a single post praising this guy looks gay. Sorry. You should never judge a book by its cover. But the blonde guy especially looks queer.
Yeah, he does.
That hair looks fake.
But one thing I'll say is, like, yeah, he does look gay and shit, but he did do a great interview with Nick Fuentes.
Yes, he did. He did.
Even though he does look gay, it's like, hey, gay people can still do.
Dude, I'm a pee in that hat. Like, seriously, I totally want to.
Why is it getting bigger as he ages?
Probably because his ego's getting bigger.
Imagine the hat sucking the hat's part of his body somehow.
No, but look, I will tell you this, guys, right? We're going to keep scrolling, and you're not going to find a single post that's pro Ben Shapiro. Not a single one. Go on, thoughts.
Okay.
I think, who do you want to go first?
Hey, I could go first if you want.
So I'm going to read this chat real quick. Cancel That Podcast says the hat is where he stores his shekels is why. That is so true. Honestly, Cancel That Podcast could be onto something because that's probably where his shackles are because he keeps on, defending a foreign country that doesn't even give a fuck about us. Anyways, continue, Black Putin. Give your perspective.
So my perspective is this, right? He's a Jew, right? And he's one of the more, I've seen some of the shit he's said about, America and shit like that. And so I heard from somebody a long time ago to always keep an eye on him, right? And the reason why is because when he does stuff, when you watch his movements and you figure out, that he's really orchestrating a lot of shit, in my opinion. If you ever looked at his movements, like, you gotta watch what this guy does on a consistent basis. It's not exactly tinfoil thinking that he has his hands in, different things because obviously he's Jewish, 1. 2, he's not just a Jew, he's a greedy Jew, and he believes that America is bad. And 3, he doesn't believe in the common everyday man. He believes in billionaires and millionaires like himself. So he's no longer, in my opinion, if you're a Jew, right, then you do what they practice. Just like if you were a Christian, Satanist, I don't give a fuck. As long as you're practicing your religion to the best of your abilities, then you're doing right by whatever deity you subscribe to, right? And he does not do that. His thing is money.
Yes.
And
we also need to consider Black Putin. Think about it from Ben's perspective. You look at good old Ben Shapiro, born in the United States to, of course, Jewish parents, and you also need to consider the fact that, from his perspective, more, and this is dead honest truth, folks, more Jews live in the United States than live in Israel. Okay, so based on that premise, you could make the narrative argument that America is at least as Jewish a nation as Israel, if not more so, based on raw population numbers.
I mean, you're not really wrong, because there is like a lot of more Jews that have, and in fact too, it's like we keep getting more because a lot of these people from Israel keep coming here.
Yep. And you look at the population of Israel, it's about 9 million people, 6 million Jews, 3 million Arabs, okay? The population of Jews in the United States, I think, is about 7 million. So in terms of raw numbers, I know America's a far bigger country with a far bigger population, but in terms of raw numbers, more Jews live in the United States than Israel. Therefore, America is as much a Jewish nation as the state of Israel. I know that's going to be very controversial to say on this particular show, but that's how they see it. That's why AIPAC exists. That's why they exert a lot of influence, guys, because in their mind, America is Israel, and Israel is America.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy,
and
right?
Honestly, we're not the United States anymore. We are the United Israel now.
Well, that's the thing that a lot of people overlook, Triton, because they look of, oh, why do these people think they can do all these things, and why do these people think that they can get away with these things? We have to, in order to successfully understand another group of people, you have to get in their shoes. You have to understand their perspective, right?
100%.
And from their perspective, you are them and they are you, right? That's why America and Israel work hand in hand, because to the Jewish people, they're one and the same. The Arabs and the Muslims see that. When they see Israel, they see America. And when they see America, they say Israel. See Israel. That's why they're so anti-American, because they're anti-Israeli.
And if you call it, even though like someone like me is born in America and lives here, if you criticize Israel, they see you as anti-American.
Exactly, because
even
that's the
I'm born here and they're not.
That's the logic they use, Triton, right? In Ben Shapiro's mind, and we're going to focus specifically on Ben because he's the most egregious example. In Ben Shapiro's mind, to be anti-American is to be anti-Israel, and to be anti-Israel is to be anti-American. It's good to have Gabriel back with us. I don't know if he heard what I said previously about.
No, I'm sorry, guys. We were talking about something else. I'm going to Thanksgiving dinner at my friend's family's house.
Good, very
Again,
good. Well, you have a good dinner, and hopefully.
Oh no,
you get
I'm not
back
leaving
on your
yet.
feet.
We're not leaving yet.
Oh, good.
But let's go back. You were talking about Ben Shapiro, so can you give me the rundown about Ben Shapiro
yes,
that we were just talking about?
Of course. Yes, of course. First of all, I couldn't find a post on X that was pro him, apart from his own sites. Second of all, understanding the perspective of Ben Shapiro, which I think is very important. The fact that not just him, but most pro-Israeli people are of the mindset of more Jews live in America than in Israel. Therefore, America is as much a Jewish nation as Israel. Therefore, being anti-American is akin to being anti-Israel, and being anti-Israel is akin to being anti-America. Because in the Jewish mind, America is as Jewish, at least, if not more Jewish, than Israel itself.
Hey, Dingy, in fact, Gabriel's living with this person. One of our friends, Robbie, wants to pop in real quick. Is that fine if I give him the link?
By all means. All
means.
Right. It's your channel.
We're probably going to end up
at the end of the day, not mine.
Yeah, we're probably going to end up.
Yeah, I have Robbie go to a different room, or at least go a little far.
Yeah, Robbie, you might have to go to like a different room so we don't echo.
Yes, that's a
He's
good
literally
idea.
like 2 feet away from me.
Yeah, you don't. You look. You either
Okay,
pop into the screen next to Gabriel, or you go to the other side of the house and do it.
Yeah. Well, we're literally in the basement.
Like I said, I'll just mute it, or if I need to, I'll put it on my other microphone and just talk through there on my phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
So getting back to the whole Ben Shapiro thing, that is the most, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm just going to call it retarded way of thinking. How the hell? So basically by that thought process, me being against the U.S. government in the way that they actually govern here makes me anti-American. Thereby, I'm anti-Israel. Thereby, if I'm anti-Israel, I should actually be in prison for the rest of my life.
Yep. That's
Lord
how they
freaking
think.
help me. This world is collapsing.
Yeah. And this has been the case since the late 1940s. Right? That's why, folks, and I want to make this very clear, right? You talk about America first. You can't be America first if you're not your own country. Think about it that way. Okay.
Exactly. We literally had a friend who protested the other night over that.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's very important for people to understand that we explore Ben Shapiro. He is the most effective symptom of the problem. And the problem is, and I think it's mostly an American problem because of the sheer amount of people in the United States. But that's why AIPAC is so powerful. That's why Ben Shapiro has such influence, because from the Israeli perspective, America and Israel are one in the same. There is no difference between the two.
Which we are not. See, thank you.
Hello.
So we are not. And the other thing is, I'm not anti-Israel. I'm anti-Zionism, because Zionism to me is just basically, let's say, Jewish white supremacy.
Yeah, it's Jewish nationalism, for lack of a
better. In fact, a lot of people get confused when I criticize Israel and Zionism. They're like, "Oh, you hate the chosen land, you hate the people." It's like, no, I don't even hate Jews. I just hate the corruption.
Well, that's why I specifically use the term Jewish nationalism, because it's a much easier description than Zionism, because it's a very exotic sounding word, and it's like, well, what does that mean? It's essentially a Jewish brand of nationalism. That's all it is, right? Israel.
I wouldn't even call it that, because, well, maybe it is like that, but there have been groups, I think it's called Leke or Lekai or something like that. You could research this, but that movement is the reason why the Prime Minister of Israel, who signed the Oslo Accords, was assassinated. He was assassinated by that group. Actually, funny enough, you guys could do the research on this. That group was originally who Benjamin Netanyahu was a member of at the time. And then I think it was right after that he switched to being a member of the party that he currently is a party of.
There are a lot of, we need to understand that in Israel itself, there's a lot of division as to whether they should be, not compromising, that's the wrong word, whether they should be conciliatory to the Arabs, and then the group that wants to essentially be like Israel first, everyone in Israel is Jewish, that sort of thing. They are literally split down the middle. That's why there were a lot of protests before October 7th against Netanyahu. Then that happened. Then everyone rallied together. Stick two and two to people together, people.
Yeah, and that Leke movement that I'm telling you about, actually, funny enough, was actually founded and supported by the Nazis. Because they literally are a supremacist group. That's their whole point. They are a supremacist group. They're anti-Arab. They're basically Jewish if you're anything other than Orthodox.
Yep.
And that's why I'm against Zionism, is because Zionism is just basically co-opting not white supremacy, but supremacy in general.
Yes.
And I don't believe that. I mean,
well, go on, finish your point.
70-something% of Israel, of the population of Israel, is non-religious and doesn't have power in government. But you know who does have the power? The 20-something%, which is ultra-Orthodox.
Yeah. And the thing we need to point out, folks, is that the Israelis, for the most part, don't need or want Western help. Okay, the only ones that do are the ones who are part of AIPAC, the Ben Shapiro types, the supremacist types. And the one thing you'll notice, right, is that all supremacist groups, be it black, white, Jewish, yellow, even the Red Indians, all the supremacist groups always band together. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's very weird when you first look into it, but then you understand what's the thing they all have in common. They all believe in supremacist viewpoints.
And
That's
they
the
believe
thing
in
that brings them
hatred too.
together.
And that brings them together too, is the hatred of another group.
Yes, but let's get, because I know Torin's been a bit quiet, so let's get Tor's perspective.
Yeah, what about it? I really don't have anything to say on this topic. I agree with everything you guys have said, and I don't have anything new to add to it.
Okay, that's good. Good to know.
That's a first.
I'm just looking through this. I'm thinking about, because when some people cover this topic, it literally drives them insane. Right? look at Candace Owens, for example. She's gone fucking batshit crazy lately, right? Because, and it's very important that people realize this, it's because of the fact that you cannot openly, honestly, or transparently talk about these things, that it drives you insane. It is a legitimate tactic used to undermine opposition, any opposition. It's just that the Shapiro types are the most effective at doing that because they've controlled the zeitgeist for 80 years. Yes, things are shifting, but they're shifting because the guy who's shifting it is a twink. I'm sorry, Nick Fuentes. You look like a teenager and a twink. I'm sorry.
I mean, he does. I mean, he does, but that's why, like, and that's also why a lot of the younger audience only listen to Nick instead of the old boomers, is because
He's relatable.
Yeah, he's relatable to the young people, but not related to the older people. Which there are a few boomers that do like Nick just because they're radicalized. But like, if you talk about like just normal people, the younger people relate to Nick more than the older people.
And we also have to consider that in terms of parallels, the creator origins of Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes couldn't be further apart, because when Ben was like 18, he was everywhere. He was being showcased everywhere. He was being pushed to the moon, that sort of thing. When Nick Fuentes was 18, he was getting censored, suppressed, deplatformed a lot. Okay? So you could say that Nick Fuentes is the anti-Ben Shapiro.
In fact, too, Ben Shapiro was one of the first people to censor Nick when he was 18.
Yep. Because Ben and his group, his cabal, knew exactly then and there how dangerous Nick Fuentes was. So they decided to wipe him out there and then. But the Triton, I think, said this before the show started. The only person who likes Ben Shapiro is Matt Walsh. Get back to work, Matt Walsh.
Get back to work, Matt Walsh.
Criticizing Israel. Yes, sir, Ben Shapiro.
Yes, sir, Ben Shapiro. I will not criticize Israel. I remember too. Matt Walsh made a video called "America, America Only," and then after that video, he was just quiet on Twitter for like 2 days, probably because he got the call from Ben. Ben probably was like, "How dare you say America Only? How fucking dare you?" And Matt was like, "I'm sorry, sir. I'll never say that shit again." You'll never hear Matt Walsh. If Matt Walsh says America, America Only again, he will be fired from Daily Wire.
While we're on the subject, whatever happened to Gavin McGinnis?
Oh, he got wiped out because he told some jokes, right? I don't think that had anything to do with anti-Israel. Because guys, do you remember CRTV back in the day? That was the organization Mark Levin started, and look where he is now. But one of the first contributors to CRTV was Gavin McGinnis. Mark Levin directly reached out to Gavin to give him a position. Now, after Levin sold out, like the guy he is, to Glenn Beck, that's how Blaze TV formed. Gavin didn't want to be a part of that, so he went over to Compound Media, to Anthony Cumia's operation. But you okay, Black Putin?
Yeah. Sorry, that's my controller.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
I was just
I'm
wondering
outside,
what that
I'm
was.
outside having a cigarette before I leave.
At least you didn't throw your family away like Triton.
Damn.
Oh yeah, ever since you made that joke, everyone in my Discord's been just harassing me with that joke of why don't you throw your family in the oven?
No, threw your family away.
Yeah, threw your family away.
At least you're not in my situation where you've been disowned by almost everybody who's blood related.
Which we
Well,
can
I'll tell you this,
that's what I
Triton.
talk about with Gabriel. But anyways, continue, Ryan.
Well, I'll tell you this, Triton. It sounds like you've thrown your mic away because I can barely hear you.
Wait, it's above my mouth. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Now you're too loud. You're too close.
It's a bit tinny though. I can tell you that it's a bit tinny.
What do you mean?
That's,
Sounds like
to
you're
me,
talking
that's
to a
all right.
can
I
with
just
a
want to hear the
drink in
guy.
it.
I don't care if he has to eat his microphone as long as I can hear him.
Hi!
See, look, like that. But that's
Now
what
you're
happens
turning
when
into
you.
Dojo.
That's what happens, guys, when you don't donate to the Daily Wire. Ben Shapiro eats his microphone.
Ben Shapiro just turns into Al. What was his name? The guy who owns. Who went and said, "They're turning the frogs gay."
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones. Sorry,
There we go.
I can't remember names for shit, man.
And speaking of Alex Jones, he has been replaced by a pod person using Ozempic technology.
Really?
Yes. Everyone who
wait.
takes Ozempic is essentially an alien being, and if you take it, the alien being takes you over, eats all your fat, and takes over your body.
So he's skinny now? Wait, he's skinny now?
What?
He's lost the weight?
Yes.
Bullshit. I got to see a picture of this.
Wait,
Well, by all means.
I saw a latest. No, I saw a latest Alex Jones clip, and he's still fat.
Eat your microphone, Triton. I can't hear you.
I said Alex Jones is still fat.
Well, I can easily bring up a screenshot. Just type in Alex Jones thin. Okay, folks? All right.
Yeah,
this is
That's
the
AI.
I'm gonna tap that right now. Alex Jones.
What happened to the comments?
That's right
the comments
here.
have just went dead.
Just share your screen. It's right there.
Oh, you already got. That's
Holy
not what he
shit.
actually looks like on a show though, because I saw a clip, and he's still fat. That's
Probably
AI.
Well, it's getting to the stage, Triton, where technology is so good you could say this show is AI.
I mean,
Yeah,
is,
I am
AI,
AI. You're AI. Gabriel's AI.
Oh, Dick is AI.
Basically now we've all turned schizophrenic.
Yes. How do you go
Oh.
from this? And he was a lot to this.
That's crazy.
that is crazy.
I definitely don't need Ozempic. I'm losing weight like a son of a bitch.
Now, where is it? No, it's this particular post about Alex Jones suddenly losing a lot of weight very quickly. So it is something that has happened. I remember when he used to be a lot bigger. And it just goes to show Ozempic is an alien being. How about that for a conspiracy? But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting close to the 90-minute mark. 4 topics, 90 minutes. Perfectly fine. 1 hour, 20. Come on, work, chink pen. 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 25 seconds. Future plans, and we're going to start off with, well, since Triton is muted, we're going to start off with Black Putin.
Oh, you can start off with him now.
So
You just scared the shit out of me, Cat. What the fuck?
Oh, I like Black.
Oh my god.
Speak.
my thoughts about the man that is 100% a piece of crap.
No. He said future plans. Like, what's your plans for like content?
Go
Oh, I thought we were gonna burn them some more. Dang.
No. We like to keep the show. Look, if I had 6 topics, it would be a 2-hour show, but it was 4, so it's a 90-minute one. But please, future plans. Do you have any future plans?
Yeah. So I'm gonna be after this. I'm gonna be getting with Triton, and more importantly, the person here that Torin, because me and Torin, I have legitimate questions about Pal World because I started playing it.
Ah, yeah. I noticed that. I heard it in the background the whole time during the stream.
I thought I turned it down enough. I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh, you're good.
I must be deaf as a post because I didn't hear a goddamn
I'm
thing.
not gonna lie, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear anything. I heard the controller saying, but that's.
I heard the little jingles whenever you like move from one location to another via fast travel.
Man, Torin have greater ears than us.
I know what we forgot to talk about. We forgot to talk about the Indian internet theory. Don't worry, we'll talk about that next Sunday. But go ahead, Black Putin. Future plans?
Well, now I'm excited about the Indian thing, like immensely, because I have a lot of thoughts on that topic.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, then we can allow you to come on the next panel then.
Triton, I can't fucking hear you.
Well, okay. Well, I told Getler that he can come on the next panel then.
Good, very good. But thank you for that, Black Putin. You've been a great. In fact, everyone on today's show has been a great addition. Okay, to the network. This will be our criminally underrated / controversial show. How about that?
This channel can be controversial. In fact, we may bring on some controversial guests to like interview.
What?
What? I don't know what's going on with this fucking mic. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Anyway, stop interrupting, faggots. All right. Anyways, so what I was saying was we could have some controversial guests on as well, because we've had controversial guests on before as well. So this could be like the controversial show. I mean, I wouldn't say it's controversial. It's just controversial because people don't like to hear the truth.
It's controversial to call a woman a whore, even if she's a whore.
Yeah, exactly, and we do that on here. So yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Sorry, guys. I'm back.
Good.
So, did you have questions for me too?
Well, thank you for your future plans, Black Putin. How about you, Gabriel? What are your future plans, if you have any?
Future plans for podcasting or future plans just in general?
Oh, in terms of podcasting.
In terms of podcasting, well, I'm going to be on the show probably more often than not, considering I do need money. So,
good.
If anything, I would love to do a topic like history or politics or something, history of politics, because I love history.
Which I want to, I don't mean to interrupt. I also want to give future plans a little bit because it explains like what's going on with like Pat Rock and stuff. And then like, he can still explain his, but like basically future plans for me and the show is during the week, like when we're not doing a network show, I'm going to have a 3-panel show with him, Dan the Man, whenever he feels better. And we're going to, try to get the channel monetized so, he can have some extra money. We'll be covering, historical politics, geopolitics, and also gaming news, and just like a mixed variety show. But it's gonna be more of like a 3-panel than an all-panel show like this one.
You know what? I'm glad you're using the monetization system that way because it makes us look more authentic. If you're using it to make sure that he doesn't remain homeless.
Yeah, because Ravencast is only 17 subs away from 500. I don't know how much watch time Triton has, but hopefully he's getting close to the 3,000 hours a year, and hopefully once the channel gets monetized, we can get some donations and help out Gabriel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, either that or like I've been having friends ask me, "Oh, well, do you have Cash App?" It's like I don't have Cash App. I don't really trust Cash App, to be honest.
There's a lot of people that don't trust it. I don't blame you. I don't even trust it, and I use it.
I mean,
I'd sooner have people Zelle me money or like donate through GoFundMe, although I don't know if that money's going to go through to my bank account or not. I'm actually very stressed on that because I know I started getting donations on Thanksgiving and I know that it takes 5 business days.
Yeah,
So
it does.
Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I should be transferring it to my account if I actually put the numbers in right for my account and routing number. I know I must have gotten it right because it showed valid.
Well, fingers crossed it all comes through and you pull through, Gabriel.
Yeah, I hope so too, because I really don't like the fact that I have so much credit card debt.
Well, there was a Family Guy song about credit card debt, and I'm
Credit
blanking
card
on
debt.
it.
Credit card
Yeah.
debt. Should I buy this Boba Fett? Credit card
There we
debt.
go.
Yeah.
Gabriel is much sharper than me. Gabriel deserves a home, and I deserve to be homeless. Okay.
No,
but
you do not. But if I had English citizenship, also something else I could actually get from my grandmother, I would go out there and try to get on dole. At least.
Yes. You'd stand a much better chance, Gabriel, if you were black. But what about you, Tor? What are your future plans?
I don't have any future plans. Like, I'm only on this podcast because I'm Triton's friend.
Oh.
I don't even actually co-host.
No, he doesn't go.
I only substitute for co-host when he needs an extra set of hands.
Yeah, and I told him to come on today because he's but he's also like a orbiter. Like he watches, Vera Dark for Tanga and stuff like that as well. Like he's more of like an orbiter and a viewer than anything.
I don't have any plans. I'm gonna rope max.
Well, technically, too. Wait, Pat Rock, couldn't you, Gabriel? Couldn't you also like talk about the podcast with Dan a little bit too? Because I know you and him are doing.
Oh yeah. But I can't remember the name of the freaking pod. I'm like I said, I'm terrible with remembering certain things and try.
We can call it until you get a name. We could just call it the Dan 240p podcast.
Yeah. I think that's actually the name of it. What did you say, Dan 240?
Yeah, 240p.
Yeah, that I think is actually the name of it. That podcast we usually do political history. Recent episode, which I don't know if it's post-production, is still in post-production or published yet. I'm assuming it's still post-production. Was an episode about it was about the Yugoslav wars, specifically the Serbian-Croat war, and how Israel actually was playing all sides in that conflict and actually selling weapons. And during that whole conflict, there was something called human hunting. You guys could research this. It's actually public knowledge, and there's actually a trial in the EU Parliament about it. Where people from America, England, France, flew out there, paid like 10,000 euros to go and shoot people just for the hell of it. And this is actually verified because the Italians actually questioned people on it and found out it was actually true. And
ladies and gentlemen, Italy has done one good thing.
No, they did another good thing in the fact that their fascist government isn't really fascist in the way that people thought it was. So, they've done two good things. But yeah, it was really bad with the Yugoslav war one. Actually, matter of fact, after we did that, I started being investigated by the local PD and whatever near me because apparently, talking about that is anti-Israel.
Hey, look, man, when you bring up countries that exist in Narnia, Yugoslavia, Zaire, Wakanda, Narnia, you bring up the Narnia states, you're gonna get a lot of pushback.
Yeah, he got gang stalked by government officials.
Mm-hmm.
No, no. I don't like calling gang stalk because it sounds schizophrenic, but I'm being dead serious because they literally came up to me and like, told me that they were watching me because of that fact. And I think the other reason why was because I'm actual military. I'm inactive reserve, but that still makes me an active military member. So you can't really have opinions like that if you're an active military member. So I kind of get it.
Oh, go on.
No, I kind of get it. Like, I understand why they did it. I just wish that they would have given me the heads up and reminded me of it instead of, just going and following me around before telling me.
Well, don't worry. I can save the day. I can save this channel by saying the following. America is Israel and Israel is America. Yay!
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 Oh yeah, by the way, Ryan, it's more dangerous for you over there because the UK's free speech laws are way worse.
Yes.
Yeah, you
But,
can't talk
my-
out against the king.
I am surprised like you haven't got arrested because of all your shows.
That's because the majority of my audience is American.
That is true. All
the British people who get arrested in the UK for violating UK speech laws have majority British audiences.
Yeah,
except for me.
That's
did you guys
smart
hear about,
because
like,
we
how
have
they
a
arrested some guy
majority
for posing
audience
with a
that are
gun?
American and they believe
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
and they believe
some
in free
bullshit.
speech and all that. It's definitely beneficial. Like you're definitely not gonna get caught. No one's gonna snitch on
Yeah,
you.
the only people who have censored me, the only people who have deplatformed me, the only people who have stabbed me in the back are, ironically enough, Americans. The only people who have destroyed my freedom of speech are Americans. The only people who have undermined my rights are Americans. So I really go against the grain in regards to
And
the
that's also the
situation.
same people that undermine our rights as fellow Americans too.
Yeah. Although I just said America is Israel, so what does that tell you? But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, my future plans are make more videos, make more shows. Well, I say make, collaborate in making more shows and making more videos from said shows as the network keeps on going and keeps on growing. Thank you all very much for being on the pilot episode of this fantastic show. Gabriel is going to have Thanksgiving pie or whatever they have over there. And thank you to Gabriel. Thank you to Black Putin. Thank you to Tor. And thank you to Triton as well. If you haven't already, folks, like the stream, share the stream. Donations are always welcome. Unfortunately, we're not monetized, so save your money.
That's
and keep it away from Ben Shapiro.
Yeah,
so until next time, ladies and gentlemen, bye for now.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye-bye, guys. See ya later. Straight